Most women start noticing mystery symptoms in their 40s, changes in sleep, mood, energy, periods, or weight that seem to appear out of nowhere. But these shifts are not random. They're the first signs of a natural hormonal transition that happens long before menopause begins. After 40, your hormones don't decline all at once. Progesterone drops first, estrogen becomes unpredictable, cortisol hits harder, insulin becomes more sensitive to stress, and your thyroid slows just enough to change how you feel. These changes can affect everything from your cravings to your confidence, even if your life hasn't changed at all. In this video, a doctor explains exactly what happens to women's hormones after 40 and how understanding these shifts can help you feel more in control. Progesterone, the first hormone to decline, and why it changes everything. If you've ever wondered why your 40s suddenly feel different, why your sleep changed, your patience shrank, or your PMS intensified, progesterone is almost always the first hormone to blame. It's the quiet hormone that rarely gets talked about, yet it's the one whose decline creates the biggest ripple effect in a woman's life. Progesterone is your natural calming, soothing, keep everything steady hormone. It helps you sleep deeply, manage stress, regulate your cycle, support mood stability, and balance estrogen. But starting in your late 30s or early 40s, progesterone begins a slow and steady decline because ovulation becomes less consistent. And once progesterone drops, everything feels more sensitive. Your emotions, your energy, your sleep, even your ability to handle stress. Why progesterone declines first? Progesterone is only produced after ovulation. As women enter their 40s, ovulation becomes less predictable. Some cycles are strong, some are weak, and some don't include ovulation at all. That means less progesterone is made, less progesterone reaches the brain. Less progesterone balances estrogen. This is why many women in their 40s say, "I feel like myself some weeks but not others." The weeks you don't ovulate are the weeks progesterone dips the lowest. How low progesterone affects mood and emotional stability. Progesterone activates GABA receptors, the calming pathways in your brain that help you feel grounded and safe. When progesterone drops, these calming signals weaken. Common experiences include feeling edgy or easily overwhelmed, more emotional sensitivity, worrying about things that never bothered you before, trouble shutting your mind off at night, feeling irritated in ways you don't fully understand. Many women assume this is stress, but in reality, the hormonal buffer against stress is thinning. Progesterone's impact on sleep. This hormone is essential for deep, restorative sleep. Low progesterone makes it harder to fall asleep and much easier to wake up at 2 to 4 a.m. These early morning wake-ups are not random. They happen because progesterone is no longer calming your nervous system through the night. Signs your sleep is progesterone-related include restless sleep, light sleep, waking with a racing mind, needing more time to unwind at night. How low progesterone affects your cycle. As progesterone declines, your periods can begin to shift in subtle ways. Shorter cycles, heavier cycles, PMS worsening, breast tenderness, mood swings, spotting before your period. These changes are very common in early perimenopause and do not mean something is wrong. They simply reflect a different hormonal rhythm. Progesterone and cortisol, the stress connection. Progesterone and cortisol share a close relationship. When progesterone is high, cortisol feels manageable. When progesterone drops, cortisol hits harder. This is why women over 40 often say, "Stress feels bigger than it used to." Small things throw me off more. I feel overwhelmed faster. It's not you, it's the hormonal shift changing how your body processes stress. How to support progesterone naturally. While you can't force your body to produce more progesterone, you can support the systems that make its decline gentler. Keep evenings calm to reduce cortisol. Eat enough during the day to prevent blood sugar crashes. Avoid intense late-night workouts. Increase magnesium-rich foods for nervous system support. Prioritize sleep consistency. Use breathwork or light stretching before bed. Small habits make a big difference because progesterone thrives in calm, steady environments. Progesterone is the first hormone to decline after 40, and its drop affects sleep, mood, stress tolerance, and cycle stability. Understanding this shift helps you recognize that your symptoms are not random or just aging. They're part of a natural hormonal transition, and with the right routines, you can support your body through it with clarity and confidence. Estrogen fluctuations, the roller coaster that creates hot flashes, mood swings, and cycle changes. If your 40s feel like an emotional and physical roller coaster, one week energized, the next exhausted or overheated, estrogen is usually the reason. Most women think estrogen simply declines, but that's not what happens at first. After 40, estrogen becomes unpredictable, it spikes, it crashes, and it swings wildly, creating symptoms that feel sudden and confusing. Estrogen is one of your most influential hormones. It shapes your brain chemistry, temperature regulation, metabolism, sleep cycles, and menstrual rhythm. So, when estrogen becomes unstable, everything from your emotions to your body temperature can shift dramatically, even within the same month. Why estrogen becomes unpredictable after 40. In your reproductive years, estrogen rises and falls in a predictable monthly pattern. But as perimenopause begins, the ovaries respond irregularly to brain signals. This leads to very high estrogen one cycle, very low estrogen the next, missed or delayed ovulation, stronger symptoms before periods, heavier or lighter bleeding. These swings, not estrogen decline alone, cause the most disruptive symptoms women notice in their 40s. How estrogen spikes affect you. High estrogen can appear without warning and often causes breast tenderness, irritability or mood swings, water retention, heavier periods, headaches or migraines, increased anxiety, heightened emotional sensitivity. Many women say, "I feel like PMS is lasting half the month." This is the hormonal impact of unpredictable estrogen spikes. How estrogen crashes affect you. When estrogen drops suddenly, usually right before or after ovulation, you may experience hot flashes, night sweats, sudden dips in mood, trouble sleeping, vaginal dryness, low libido, fatigue, or brain fog. These crashes interrupt sleep by raising body temperature and triggering adrenaline overnight, which is why you may wake up sweaty or restless. Estrogen's role in brain and sleep health. Estrogen supports key brain chemicals like serotonin and dopamine. It also helps regulate melatonin and keeps temperature stable during sleep. When estrogen becomes inconsistent, REM, sleep becomes lighter. Deep sleep becomes harder to reach. Emotional dreams increase. Sensitivity to stress rises. Waking up hot or anxious becomes common. This is why women often say their sleep suddenly changed in their mid-40s. Estrogen's influence on menstrual cycles. Because estrogen drives the first half of the cycle, its fluctuations cause noticeable changes, such as cycles becoming shorter or longer, periods arriving early or late, heavier flow followed by very light flow, new cramps or PMS symptoms, mid-cycle spotting. These shifts are normal signs of perimenopause, not problems but transitions. How to support more stable estrogen levels. You can't fully control estrogen swings, but you can support healthier metabolism and smoother fluctuations. 1. Increase fiber-rich foods. Helps your body clear excess estrogen and reduces symptoms from spikes. 2. Support your liver. Leafy greens, berries, lemons, flaxseed, and cruciferous vegetables help with estrogen breakdown. 3. Keep blood sugar steady. Stable glucose reduces the intensity of hot flashes and mood swings triggered by estrogen dips. 4. Reduce alcohol intake. Alcohol disrupts estrogen metabolism and intensifies night sweats. 5. Add phytoestrogen foods. Flax seeds, soy, chickpeas, lentils, and sesame seeds may help smooth fluctuations. 6. Prioritize nighttime cool-down routines. Lowering body temperature reduces symptoms from estrogen crashes. Estrogen doesn't just decline after 40, it fluctuates dramatically. These ups and downs are responsible for hot flashes, mood swings, sleep disruption, and unpredictable cycles. When you understand the estrogen roller coaster, your symptoms make sense, and you can support your body with habits that bring more stability, calm, and comfort through the transition. Cortisol, why stress hits harder. After 40. If you've noticed that stress feels heavier now, that things you used to handle easily suddenly overwhelm you, that's not a personality change, it's cortisol. After 40, your stress response becomes more sensitive because the hormones that once buffered cortisol begin to decline. Cortisol is your primary stress hormone, but it's also connected to sleep, energy, metabolism, mood, and even how your body stores fat. When cortisol becomes more reactive during the 40s, many women experience symptoms that feel random but are actually part of a predictable hormonal pattern. Why stress feels different in your 40s. 2 major hormonal shifts change how your body handles stress. 1. Progesterone drops. Progesterone calms cortisol. When it declines, cortisol feels stronger, louder, and faster. 2. Estrogen becomes unstable. Estrogen helps regulate the nervous system. When estrogen spikes or crashes, cortisol becomes harder to control. Together, these changes make your stress system more sensitive, which is why even small triggers, a change in schedule, a busy day, a conflict, can feel overwhelming now. Signs cortisol is becoming more reactive. Many women assume these are emotional issues or life stress, but they're hormonal signals, feeling tired but wired, anxiety at night, trouble falling asleep or early morning waking, heart racing during the day, sensitivity to noise or overstimulation, emotional swings that feel out of character, afternoon energy crashes, cravings for sugar, salt, or caffeine, belly fat appearing despite diet and exercise. This happens because cortisol is no longer buffered the way it was in your 20s and 30s. How cortisol interacts with other hormones. With progesterone, low progesterone removes the calming brake on cortisol, making stress reactions sharper. With estrogen fluctuations make your brain more sensitive to stress hormones. With insulin, high cortisol raises blood sugar, which can trigger cravings and weight gain. With thyroid hormones, chronic stress slows thyroid function, deepening fatigue and mood issues. This interconnectedness explains why many women feel like everything changed at once. Why cortisol disrupts sleep after 40. Your nighttime cortisol should drop so melatonin can rise. But during the 40s, stress feels bigger, blood sugar becomes less stable, estrogen becomes unpredictable. Progesterone declines. These shifts cause nighttime cortisol spikes, leading to wide-awake periods between 2 and 4 a.m., restless sleep, difficulty winding down, feeling wired at bedtime. These patterns are classic signs of perimenopausal cortisol sensitivity. How to support a healthier cortisol rhythm. 1. Morning light exposure. This stabilizes your cortisol curve and reduces nighttime spikes. 2. Don't skip meals. Long gaps between food raise cortisol, especially for women 40 plus. 3. Choose gentle to moderate movement most days. Walking, Pilates, strength training calm cortisol far more than intense cardio. 4. Avoid high-intensity workouts at night. They keep cortisol elevated for hours. 5. Build calm evenings. Dim lights, slow activities, and consistent routines help retrain your cortisol rhythm. 6. Practice slow breathing for 2 to 5 minutes. This activates the vagus nerve and lowers cortisol immediately. Cortisol becomes more reactive after 40 because the hormones that once balanced it begin to weaken. This is why stress feels bigger, sleep becomes lighter, and energy more unpredictable. But once you understand the cortisol shifts happening inside your body, you can support your hormones with calm routines, steady meals, and movement habits that help you feel grounded and resilient again. Insulin and metabolism. Why weight changes happen, even with the same routine. If you've been eating the same way and moving the same way, yet still noticing weight gain, especially around the belly, this is not age. It's insulin. After 40, your hormones shift in ways that make your body more sensitive to blood sugar swings, even if your lifestyle hasn't changed at all. Insulin is the hormone that helps your cells absorb glucose for energy. When insulin becomes less efficient, a common change after 40, your body stores more fat, experiences stronger cravings, and becomes more reactive to stress, poor sleep, and skipped meals. These changes are hormonal, not personal failures. Why insulin becomes more sensitive after 40. 2 major hormonal changes impact how your body handles glucose. 1. Estrogen fluctuations increase insulin resistance. Estrogen helps your cells use glucose efficiently. When estrogen drops or spikes, your body doesn't process sugar as smoothly, leading to cravings, fatigue, and stubborn fat. 2. Progesterone decline increases cortisol reactivity. Higher cortisol, higher blood sugar, higher insulin. This affects appetite, mood, and sleep. Together, these shifts make your metabolism feel slower when it's really just more sensitive. Signs insulin is changing in your 40s. These symptoms often appear gradually: belly fat or waist expansion, crashing in the afternoon, needing sweets after meals, feeling shaky or irritable when hungry, energy swings throughout the day, waking up at 2 to 4 a.m., gaining weight despite healthy habits, feeling hungrier after a poor night's sleep. These are not willpower issues, they're hormonal blood sugar signals. How sleep and stress affect insulin. Insulin doesn't operate alone. 2 major factors influence it. 1. Poor sleep. Just 1 night of poor sleep can reduce insulin sensitivity by up to 30%. This means your body needs more insulin to manage the same food, which leads to fat storage and cravings. 2. Chronic stress. High cortisol releases glucose into the bloodstream. If this happens often, insulin becomes overworked, leading to weight gain, emotional hunger, and mood instability. This is why women feel like their metabolism changed overnight. How estrogen and progesterone affect metabolism. Estrogen and progesterone help regulate appetite, energy, and fat distribution. When they fluctuate or decline, cravings increase. Appetite becomes unpredictable. Fat redistributes to the midsection. Emotional eating becomes more common. Blood sugar spikes feel more intense. Women often say, "Foods that never bothered me now cause weight gain." This is the hormonal transition, not a lack of discipline. How to support insulin for a steady midlife metabolism. 1. Eat balanced meals with protein, fiber, and healthy fat. This keeps blood sugar stable and reduces cravings. 2. Don't skip breakfast. A protein-rich breakfast stabilizes insulin and reduces overeating later. 3. Move gently after meals. A 10-minute walk lowers blood sugar more effectively than many medications. 4. Manage evening eating patterns. Large late-night meals can cause nighttime blood sugar crashes and 2 to 4 a.m. wake-ups. 5. Reduce sugar and liquid calories. These hit your bloodstream faster and cause bigger spikes after 40. 6. Prioritize sleep and stress reduction. These are the two biggest regulators of insulin, even more than dieting. Insulin shifts are one of the main reasons women gain weight, feel more tired, and experience cravings after 40. These changes are not about willpower. They're about hormones adjusting to a new phase of life. By stabilizing blood sugar with simple habits, you support your metabolism, improve energy, and feel more in control of your body again. Thyroid changes, the hidden hormone that slows down in midlife. If you've noticed new fatigue, brain fog, weight changes, thinning hair, or feeling colder than usual, even when nothing else in your life has changed, your thyroid may be sending signals. The thyroid is one of the most sensitive hormone systems in a woman's body, and after 40, it becomes even more reactive to stress, sleep loss, and shifting estrogen levels. Your thyroid controls your metabolism, energy, temperature, digestion, and mood. So when it slows down even slightly, you feel it everywhere. Many women don't realize that perimenopause itself places extra pressure on the thyroid, making symptoms appear suddenly, even if lab tests look normal. Why the thyroid becomes more vulnerable after 40. 3 major changes affect thyroid function during your 40s. 1. Estrogen fluctuations affect thyroid hormone availability. Estrogen helps thyroid hormones travel through the bloodstream. When estrogen spikes or crashes, thyroid hormones become harder for your cells to use. 2. Progesterone decline increases cortisol sensitivity. High cortisol blocks thyroid hormone conversion, T4 to T3. This means less active thyroid hormone reaches your tissues. 3. Stress and poor sleep slow thyroid activity. A single week of poor sleep can lower thyroid function. Chronic stress intensifies this effect. These shifts don't always show up as dramatic thyroid problems. Often, it's a subtle slowdown that affects how you feel every day. Signs your thyroid is shifting in your 40s. Women often misinterpret thyroid-related symptoms as aging, stress, or low motivation, but the patterns are distinct. Common thyroid slowdown symptoms: persistent fatigue, even after sleep, feeling cold more often, thinning hair or increased shedding, dry skin, brain fog or slower thinking, unexplained weight gain, constipation, low mood or irritability, thyroid overstimulation, common with cortisol spikes, nighttime anxiety, heart racing, feeling overheated, trouble falling asleep, mood swings, restlessness. Both patterns are common during perimenopause. How thyroid hormones affect sleep and mood. Thyroid hormones communicate with your brain to regulate sleep-wake cycles. When levels drop or become unstable, melatonin becomes irregular. Sleep feels shallow. You wake up more during the night. Energy crashes in the afternoon. Mood feels heavier or unpredictable. Motivation dips. This is why thyroid changes can feel like emotional changes, but they're hormonal shifts inside the brain. The stress-thyroid connection. High cortisol blocks the conversion of T4, inactive thyroid hormone, into T3, active hormone. This means even if your thyroid gland is healthy, stress alone can create thyroid-like symptoms. That's why women say, "I feel hypothyroid, but my labs look normal." Often, the issue is conversion, not production. How to support your thyroid naturally. 1. Eat thyroid-supportive minerals. Selenium, Brazil, nuts, eggs, tuna, zinc, pumpkin seeds, seafood, beans, iodine, seaweed, iodized salt, dairy. These help thyroid hormone production and conversion. 2. Avoid long gaps without food. Low blood sugar stresses your thyroid and raises cortisol. 3. Prioritize sleep consistency. Even small improvements help stabilize thyroid output. 4. Manage nighttime stress. Calm evenings reduce cortisol's impact on thyroid hormones. 5. Add gentle movement, not chronic cardio. Walking and strength training support thyroid function better than high-intensity workouts. 6. Reduce exposure to extreme dieting. Very low-calorie or low-carb diets slow the thyroid significantly, especially after 40. Thyroid changes are extremely common in midlife, not because your body is failing, but because your hormones are shifting and your thyroid is adapting. When you support your thyroid with nourishing foods, calm evenings, steady meals, and healthy routines, you strengthen one of the most important systems that keeps you energized, clear-minded, and emotionally steady through your 40s and beyond. Your 40s Hormone Survival Map, a simple framework to stay balanced. Your 40s are not a breakdown, they're a recalibration. Every major hormone begins shifting, sometimes subtly and sometimes dramatically, and your body needs a new kind of support. What worked in your 20s and 30s won't always work now, not because you've done anything wrong, but because your hormonal landscape has changed. This simple, practical framework helps you navigate the transition with more stability, fewer symptoms, and far more confidence. 1. Protect your sleep window, your #1 hormonal tool. Sleep is the master regulator of cortisol, insulin, thyroid, estrogen, and progesterone. Create a consistent rhythm. Keep bedtime and wake time steady. Dim lights 60 minutes before bed. Keep your bedroom cool. Avoid screens or stress after 8 to 9 p.m. When sleep stabilizes, every hormone becomes easier to manage. 2. Eat in a steady rhythm. No more skipping meals. Your 40s nervous system is more sensitive to low blood sugar. Stabilize insulin by eating protein at every meal, including fiber plus healthy fats, avoiding long gaps without food, reducing late-night sugar. Steady blood sugar prevents crashes, night waking, cravings, and emotional swings. 3. Move in. Ways that support, not stress, your body. Your hormones now prefer balanced movement, 2 to 3 days of strength training. Daily walking, 20 to 30 minutes. Gentle flow, Pilates, or restorative yoga. Limit HIIT to 1 time per week, only when well rested. Avoid late-night intense exercise. Your body is resilient. It just needs stress-aware movement now. 4. Create calm evenings to support. Progesterone and cortisol. Evening overstimulation is one of the biggest triggers of perimenopause symptoms. Protect your nights by keeping conversations, shows, and activities light. Using breathwork or stretching to calm the nervous system. Avoiding scrolling, news, or emotional content. Allowing your brain a gentle, predictable wind down. Progesterone thrives when your environment is calm. 5. Support estrogen metabolism. Naturally, you can't stop estrogen fluctuations, but you can make them gentler by helping your body process estrogen efficiently. Daily habits that help: eat fiber-rich veggies and whole foods. Add flaxseed, lentils, or chickpeas. Drink enough water. Reduce alcohol, especially at night. Prioritize liver-friendly foods like greens, berries, citrus. This smooths out spikes and reduces the intensity of crashes. 6. Reduce daily stress load. Small changes matter most. You don't need a new life, just new micro-habits. Take short breaks during the day. Get 5 to 10 minutes of morning sunlight. Practice slow exhale breathing. Say no a little more often. Keep your schedule lighter in high-symptom weeks. Your 40s brain is more sensitive to stress hormones, so tiny reductions make a big difference. 7. Anchor your day with predictability. Hormones love routine. A steady daily pattern helps regulate cortisol, thyroid, and insulin more effectively than extreme diets or intense workouts. Think regular meals, consistent sleep, predictable mornings, gentle transitions at night. Your 40s are a hormonal transition, not a crisis. When you support sleep, blood sugar, stress, movement, and estrogen metabolism with simple daily habits, your symptoms lessen, your energy rises, and your body begins to feel like yourself again, just with wiser rhythms and stronger boundaries. Conclusion: your 40s are a powerful turning point, not a sign that your body is falling apart. Once you understand how progesterone, estrogen, cortisol, insulin, and your thyroid naturally shift during this chapter, everything starts to make sense. The mood changes, sleep issues, cravings, cycle shifts, and energy dips are not personal failures. They're part of a hormonal recalibration your body is built to navigate. With small, consistent habits that support sleep, stress, blood sugar, and gentle movement, your hormones become more predictable and your daily life feels steadier. Your body isn't working against you, it's asking for a new rhythm. Educational only, not medical advice. If you found this helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for watching.